Greetings, friends. Reformed Stoic here. Um, I've done these kind of videos before where it's a live stream with the intention of keeping the VOD up and discussing a topic. I guess you could say this is kind of like recording a video. This is like my video content, but live. So I will keep an eye on the chat, but I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the subject pretty quickly here. Maybe give a couple of people a couple minutes to show up. I'll go grab some water. But we're gonna talk about how there's people out there who want to throw you off of your center. Okay, very good, very good. The villain. What's so funny, buddy? You trying to throw me off, dude? Why would you just show up and say LOL? What's the point of that? How come I keep checking you, the villain? How come you keep making me say what are you doing all the time? Better have a good answer to that, because I think I'm about done with you, bro. Sorry, man. You're just kind of weirding me out lately. So, some people want to throw you off of your center. I'm here doing a video. Yeah, you know what, dude? That's it. I wish you the best, the villain. You're too negative, dude. You're too negative. You're bringing me down. Have a good one, man. Okay. I'm trying to do a video topic here. I'm going to do it live. I will kind of take a look at who's in the chat, but I'll probably use my editor to cut the video right here and start. Okay. So here we go. We're trying this live. Some people want to throw you off your center. Now, I wanted to start from the perspective of like the DJ Khaled. They don't want you to win. They don't want you to have the keys. But you got to think of the people who are trying to throw you off your center. And a great way to throw you off of your center is to gaslight you. Who's they? Everybody? Nobody cares about you, dude. You're not important enough. So I would start by saying it's not everybody. It's not everybody wants to throw you off of your center. It's that there are people out there who would like to see you thrown off of your center. And if you ever are thrown off of your center, you'll probably realize that it's quite a bit of people. You could even realize that depending where you live or what your situation is, that it's most people. So I'll start with my personal experience and why I think I was thrown off of my center. I believe that people who have poor boundaries, dysfunctional upbringings, traumatic childhoods or early traumatic experiences, you could have boundary issues, you could develop insecurity issues, and as a result, you could be prone to being thrown off of your center. Now, what does it mean to be thrown off of your center? It means that visually, people can see that you don't got it all together. Like you said something wrong, or you did something wrong, or something that can materialize as gossip. Like, hey, did you hear that so-and-so failed this, or dropped out of this, or said this, or did this? Or, oh man, did you hear about how they went to jail, or how they went to a mental hospital? You hear the latest about this person? People want other people to fail. Not everybody, but there's this mindset that a lot of people operate on, unfortunately, that somebody's got to lose, and I don't want it to be me. So when somebody else is losing, when somebody else is thrown off of their center, they will have a sigh of relief. Like, oh, good. This person's the next person to fail, not me. So when you get through your childhood, let's assume you get through public school, you graduate high school, because that's just all developmental stuff. You're definitely going to screw up a few times, hopefully like there's not some rumor about you, like you shit your pants or something that everybody in school obsesses over and that it never goes away. Hopefully it doesn't get that bad, but a lot of people who end up being pretty cool people in life don't do well in high school, because that is a first example of a place where people are regular people. On some level, I think private school protects you from regular people. Normies, maybe you would be familiar with. So when you start reaching adulthood, your 20s, mid-20s, getting through college, now it's less about screwing up and more about attaining something good. Like, it's pretty rare for somebody to be amazing by the time they graduate high school, but it's possible, if you stick with sports or something. I think that's probably, you have your handful of geniuses, but then you have people who excel in sports. So athletic kind of stuff, that's going to be the first area where people obtain some sort of a light. So if you're an athlete, you're a young athlete, this more adult advice could apply to you early. Because not only do people want to see people thrown off of their center, but when you're carrying some type of a light, when you're carrying something good, when you have a gift, when you have potential, maybe even towards being close to obtaining some sort of an enlightenment, then people really would like to see you thrown off of your center. Because not only do people want there to be failures, they also don't want to be outshined. They don't want somebody to be some amazing person. People doing bad off their center makes them feel good. People doing good above and beyond makes them feel bad. It's out there. If it's something you have personal experience with, you probably are in the know that it's a hefty portion of people, maybe even the majority, hence the term normies. Normies probably means something different to me than it means to a lot of other people. Okay. So now what I do a lot in my videos is I cite my other videos. This is getting me thinking about the video I made about enlightenment. Like, what is enlightenment? And in that video, and I just wanted to make the joke real quick, it's like, oh, citation? Me. But I've kind of been developing my own system of life over the course of my channel. And as time goes on, I try to drop newer relevant videos that have kind of combined all these little kernels of nuggets of what I think is wisdom from my personal experience and study. What it comes down to is with study, there's a lot of different competing theories of life, and then you realize which ones are true through your personal experience. So, what I was trying to hash out in my enlightenment video is spiritual warfare, basically. And it's this idea that either attacks will manifest when you are about to reach enlightenment, like a spiritual warfare, like you're getting really close to attainment of some higher knowledge, and then all of a sudden the spiritual warfare manifests, and it manifests as like a smear campaign, a big problem in your life, getting canceled, a standoff with narcissists that results in this whole process. You unmask some narcissists, like you use your knowledge to unmask some narcissists, like maybe a lot of narcissists, and then they go on the smear campaign, they recruit the flying monkeys. It could become something like gang stalking. They could try to get you an FBI interview or whatever. Sam Hyde, I just watched Sam Hyde's video again about cutting out toxic people. He says that if you try to expose someone who is toxic in your life, which is basically unmasking the narcissist, they could try to get you an FBI interview, which basically could amount to some sort of gang stalking or watch list. This is a Chosen Ones video, by the way. This will be the title of this stream right now. What is it? Some people want to throw you off of your center. Chosen Ones. Okay. So what I was trying to hash out in that video, what I'm still trying to think of is like, is it possible to obtain this higher knowledge or enlightenment without triggering the spiritual warfare, without triggering the smear campaign, without like unmasking narcissists, which results in recruiting the flying monkeys in the smear campaign? I'm trying to figure out if it's a necessary part of the process, and I'm leaning towards that it is. It's almost like we have all these gatekeeper narcissists in our life. It seems like just this spiritual reality. Like, if you are somebody who had a light in you, like you're somebody special, you're a special snowflake, you're one of God's chosen. I mean, I'm using the air quotes because I'm trying to be sensitive about the language I use. This is kind of just a concept that I'm brushing up against. I don't really want to put my foot down and be like, you're a chosen one. I'm a chosen one. I know what it means to be a chosen one. You have spiritual gifts. You're psychic. You're magic. You're an angel. Like, I don't really know what it is, but this seems to be a thing. The chosen ones seems to be the best like category of people who explain what this is. And I think this is extremely real. Like, this to me is more real than other things I was teaching. I, just so you know, effectively right now, am not going to go to mass. I'm not going to go to church anymore. So on some level, I feel like this is more true than things that I've learned from church. So take that for what you want. I do take theology seriously. I do consider myself a Christian. I guess this is kind of a spicy label. I consider myself more of like an esoteric, mystic Christian. And that could send all kinds of radars that could get, wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. Uh-oh, the theology police are going to try to get you gang stalked or put on watch lists. And, well, I feel like that kind of just proves my point. Anyway, we're digressing a little bit. So, the theory that I'm thinking is that the spiritual warfare is necessary because that's what makes you enlightened. That's what confirms what you've been thinking. That's the sign that can make you sure. It's so hard to have certainty. And when I was defending Protestantism and when I was defending Catholicism, you come across these people who are like, but how can you be certain? How can you be sure? And I thought that my arguments were going to weigh on them, but over time, I feel like it's their uncertainty that weighed on me and made me think, there's a lot of confident Mormons, there's a lot of confident Catholics, there's a lot of confident Orthodox, there's a lot of confident Protestants. Now, does that mean that the truth isn't out there? That's a saying of mine. The truth is out there. I believe in objective truth. What I'm not so sure about is my ability to have discovered it. I might think that I've discovered the objective truth, but in fact I haven't. But it is out there. And I do think that learning from experience is valuable. Now, what you'll run into with philosophers is, oh, well, that's anecdotal evidence and those kind of things. But I do believe that theoretically you can have experiences, and your experience can lead you maybe closer toward a truth. And I'm starting to think that your personal experience might be more important toward leading you toward truth than reading books. Reading books is important. Don't sleep on it. A lot of people will be like, oh, going to college is useless. You know, a college degree is worthless. That's not true. But at the same time, you're not going to get all your answers from going to university. You're not going to get all your answers from learning books. It's like, let me see if I can construct a metaphor here. It's kind of like in martial arts, going to the gym, athleticism is very important, probably a requirement for being a good martial artist. But every now and then you find these martial artists who have a little bit of a beer belly. They don't have the ripped six-pack abs. They don't have the physique of an athlete, and they're better. And they're better than people who do have athletic physiques. So it's not the most important part of martial arts, but it is an aspect. And I read some books, and I studied, and I went to university, and it's a part of it. But I'm starting to believe in learning from experience. And what I've been getting at here is what I think I've learned from experience is that if you have a light, you will have it when you're young to a degree. You won't know what it is. You won't have knowledge of it. The first people to see your light will be your enemies. The first people to realize your gifts, your light, your nature, will be the normies. The people out there who want to throw you off of your center. They'll see it before you do. They'll keep tabs on you. They'll think, okay, this person seems kind of naive, which I think is an aspect of being a chosen one, because you are one of the peacekeepers. Blessed are the peacekeepers, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. 8 Beatitudes. I'm going to memorize it at some point, but I know the gist of it. You are a peacekeeper. You are someone who has suffered for justice's sake. You are someone who thirsts for justice. You are someone who is meek of spirit. You have all of these things ingrained in you. You are one of the, what is there? The wheat and the tares. The tares are the bad. The wheat is the good. You are one of the wheats. You are one of the people who has these inherent characteristics, and people will see it. The idea that you're like 6 years old and you're like, man, I'm kind of smarter than people. I have these abilities. Like, I'm more gentle. I'm already know what it means to be a good person at 6 years old. And I'm going to kind of like suppress my power level. See, Dragon Ball Z, suppressing your power level, that's real. And the internet has caught on to that. It's like, you don't want people to know your power level. Now they kind of use that in right-wing circles to just like, there's danger here. We don't want people to sense that we're like really far right. Now I'm using it in the sense of, you have a light, you have a nature about you that is positive. People discover it young, before you. They keep tabs on you. They're watching you. The monitoring spirit. There's all kinds of videos for this stuff. The monitoring spirit, the narcissist, the flying monkeys. Now, what are monitoring spirits? Monitoring spirits are people who you only realize are there when you fuck up. Excuse my language, but I think that it just helps accentuate my point, okay? You didn't make a little oopsie. You fucking blew it, okay? I'm sorry. Swearing sometimes, I'm working on it. That's when you realize there's the monitoring spirits. Because I know this like the back of my hand, bro. And if you don't want to think that, like, you're not really chosen, whatever, dude. Like, you just let me know. If you think you're chosen, listen to my experience. And you tell me if you think it's spot on or not, okay? So, Facebook is a great place for the monitoring spirits to hang out. And you'll be like, just played a show. Chirp, 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 chirp. Here's pictures from my band on tour. Chirp, 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 chirp. Ah, what a great, beautiful day. Chirp, 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 chirp. I love this song. Chirp, 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 chirp. I don't know what the fuck it is with people from my hometown, but you guys have a stick up your ass. What's your problem, dude? Dude, you're full of yourself. Oh, man, I've read your other statuses, and based off of the other things you've said, like, whoa! I didn't realize all these people were watching my Facebook. I was under the impression that nobody was even paying attention to my Facebook. But now I make a negative status, and it turns out everybody's watching my Facebook. Wow. That's a monitoring spirit. They're watching you. And when you do something cool, chirp, 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 no likes, no comments. They don't want to validate you. They're waiting for an opportunity to make a molehill out of an anthill. I don't know why I can't remember that saying. When you do something imperfect, when you display, something that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't be complaining about your hometown on Facebook. You shouldn't let people know you're in a bad mood on Facebook. You shouldn't say anything negative on Facebook. But it happens. It happens to the best of us. And the monitoring spirits will be there to make it a big deal. And they use your Facebook to gather ammunition. This is something that narcissists do. So when it's time for the smear campaign, when somebody recruits the flying monkeys for the smear campaign, which I have personal experience with, it manifests as somebody on Facebook saying, does anybody hang out with this Jake Shields guy anymore? That's a narcissist recruiting the flying monkeys. And then all the people who show up in the comments, oh yeah, I saw he said this on Facebook about being a nice guy and women not liking nice guys. That's one of the flying monkeys having gathered ammunition from my Facebook. So all of this terminology, he said this on Facebook. That's ammunition gathered by a flying monkey who was recruited by a narcissist. The flying monkeys are also narcissists. And this is all spiritual warfare. And it's something that I've basically been dealing with ever since basically my whole life. But in 2014, I was a little bit injured because I moved away from Boston. I started a new point of my life, and it was scary. It's like, I was playing in bands. We did some cool stuff. I went to Berkeley over here. I hung out with Berkeley students. I played the House of Blues, opened up for Animals as Leaders. I went on tour. I was doing cool things. I felt connected. I had people around me who were in my corner. Now, all of a sudden, I've left all that stuff to go to Vegas to do God knows what. I'm feeling a little bit insecure. I'm feeling like maybe life's not going a good direction. And the sharks are smelling blood. So this is all like a side quest of trying to establish, is it possible to have the light, to circumvent all of the spiritual warfare, to never be noticed by narcissists, and to never be monitored by monitoring spirits? I feel like it's impossible, bro. And, the people, anybody can make a Chosen Ones video. I wouldn't just say, go learn from the Chosen Ones. You have to have some discernment. It's like you have to already be a chosen one to be able to say, okay, this person's on one, this person is not on the level. It's kind of like this invisible college, bro, where either you know or you don't. And listening to the Chosen Ones is just going to kind of validate your experiences, and you'll get an idea of who's trying to insert some lies, who's trying to do this and that. But all I can say for me, what I'm doing here is, if you can relate to these experiences, don't worry about, am I enlightened? Am I a chosen one? That doesn't matter. But if you can relate to these experiences, basically you're on that path. And basically you're a special kind of person. So what I'm getting at is that you will experience spiritual warfare, and the closer you get towards enlightenment, you'll get to this checkpoint on the road where you will make your biggest mistake ever, or you will do something that triggers a serious smear campaign. I think what I'm hearing is thunder right now. Ooh, it's like the clouds are coming and it's raining and it's thunder while I'm going on this spiel, man. That's kind of epic. You will trigger an ultimate smear campaign, which, if people know what gang stalking is, it could result in gang stalking. It could be something huge. It's like this burst of energy as you were about to leave behind the prior point of your life. And this high level of spiritual warfare will push you over the line. It's the spiritual warfare that enlightens you. You gain the knowledge from the spiritual warfare. they will make you positive of the things that you wondered. It's like, wow, I really am being targeted and watched. Wow. Yeah, that's thunder. I really am being targeted and watched. I really am special. I really am different. I used to have this insecurity, like, man, I feel like people are against me. I feel like people don't like me for some reason. And you will realize it. And then you will start to come to these next conclusions. Dude, this is, wow, this is epic. it's freaking like thundering and lightning, and it's like the devil doesn't want me to be making this video. And it's not like I really believe that. Wow. This is the first thunderstorm since I've been here. So what's the point of this video, guys? Some people want to throw you off of your center. It will start off as very subtle, okay? You'll get bullied when you're young, and people will say negative things about you. And like with me, when I was young, it's like, man, I'm short, I'm bald, I take things too personally, I'm weak. Like, you'll believe it. And you'll start off your life thinking that you are a subpar person, that you are a below average person. Here comes the rain. But what you will start to realize, if things work out for you, because what happens, guys, is that people get, it's the world sucking you down into the worldly mentality. That's a lot of rain. This is crazy. Yeah, there goes Wrinkles. You get sucked down in this worldly mentality and you become like them. And then the world allows you to progress. It's like, okay, now you're one of us. I used to think you're a wimp, but you know, now you're bullying other people, and now you're mean, and now you're worldly, and now you're like us, and you graduate from the college of worldliness. But the way I see it is that you aren't really a chosen one if that happens to you. You're a chosen one if you escape from the worldliness. So you start your life thinking, wow, this has never happened before. You start your life thinking that you're below average, but you start to have this suspicion, like, am I above average? Am I well above average? And really people are ganging up against me and trying to drag me down because I'm above average? And it becomes a suspicion in your mind. And this is the point where I just wonder, can you escape? Can you quietly realize, man, I'm like actually above average, and a lot of really toxic people in my life have tried to gatekeep my self-esteem as a mechanism of protecting their own self-esteem, because they're threatened by my ability to feel good about myself and be confident. It's okay, Wrinkles. Yeah, the cats are scared. It's okay, Wrinkles. You know the song, You Can Dance If You Want To. And don't dance and don't dance and be no friend of mine. Apparently it's about going along with the others. Yeah. Yeah, man, I know exactly what you're talking about. You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. But if you don't dance and you ain't no friend of mine. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like you're not dancing along with everybody else. See, this is how I've seen a lot of other chosen ones make videos. They do a live stream. They do it live. They interact with the comments. I think we're going to try to do some more of this kind of content, guys. Because, you know, when I make my videos, I very rarely ever edit anything. So I might as well just do it live. It's okay. Wrinkles is hiding under the couch. Crazy, yeah. And I'm not going to go to the gym today because, my butt is still sore from the last time I did squats. So next time I go to the gym, I'm going to freaking kill legs. You're safe, Rinky. Don't worry. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to hash out, is like, is it possible to, because, you know, you get bullied a little bit, but at some point you're like, okay, I'm surrounded by monitoring spirits. I'm not below average. I'm above average. And people are trying to bring me down. And then you just, it's like what Sam Hyde said. Sam Hyde's video, Cutting Out Toxic People, is like a legendary rant. It's absolutely legendary. And he says it's like diffusing a bomb. At that point, it's like diffusing a bomb. Because when you realize that you're surrounded by these toxic gatekeeper, narcissist, potential flying monkeys who could potentially try to ruin your life, it's like you just slowly disappear. What I tell people is like, start responding to one less text. Like if you respond to 10 out of 10 texts, respond to 9 out of 10 texts, then 8 out of 10 texts. Go to 1/4 of the things you used to go to. Start phasing yourself out. Start protecting your boundaries. But it's crazy how little things, like if you used to be an open book and you used to let people walk over you and then you don't, they'll notice it, bro. Like these people will start to notice basically you spiritually recovering and spiritually elevating and like doing better in a group setting. And if you are becoming this person who does better, you'll realize that these are just toxic people and that you should phase them out. And that's the scary thing, is that I'm considering that even if you do just go ghost and you don't lash out on Facebook like I did, which gives them ammunition, which gives them the opportunity to pretend you're a horrible person and go on a smear campaign like happened to me, even if you do phase yourself out and do all the right things, I think they might still attack you, bro. I think they'll bring up something from the past. Like, I don't know if you can escape from this spiritual warfare. I feel like it's a natural thing that happens. And surviving the spiritual warfare, which is, the mobbing, the stalking, the harassment, the smear campaigns, that will basically, it's like almost a necessary component to get closer towards enlightenment. I gotta stop fapping. All I do is lash out. I think they're connected. I think you're Rick Perry, dude. But yeah, basically, guys, I think there's more than one path. There's the family path, and then there's the path of the mystic or the ascetic. Removing sin from your life is very in line with it. Fasting, abstinence, not masturbating. So I was watching Jay Dyer roast a Buddhist yesterday, and when the Buddhist was describing God, it's like, okay, well, no, I don't think your consciousness is God. That's where I tend to disagree. But when Buddhists are telling you how to act as a person, I find very few differences between what they say and what Jesus says. It's just, when you want to think about how to stop sinning in terms of how you interact with people, it's like, how can I be good to people? Sometimes just backing out is the easiest way to do it. It's like, I can't hurt people if I'm not around them. If I just stay to myself, that's a good way to stop hurting people. Like kind of the Jainist concept of, I just want to stop affecting things. I just want to stop having effect on the world. To resolve your karma. And what's the difference between God's favor and karma? What's the difference between not producing bad karma and not sinning? I know that there are differences. Jeem would be a great example of a person who could start hashing out all the differences, but they're small. Like, there are similarities. Like, nirvana versus heaven, karma versus not sinning. And when I start to look at, what's, the big picture of a difference? Well, one of them is sometimes I feel like Christians are like, I'm doing all of this just to not go to hell. Whereas in, Buddhism, it's like, if you're not enlightened, it's not necessarily suffering in hell forever. It's just, you're just like a regular Joe. And if you think about it, well, the normies seem to kind of be like the reprobate. The normies seem to kind of be the regular Joes. Now, but there are normies in the church as well. And like I've said, my definition of normie, I should probably come up with a different word than normie. But I'd like to think that some people understand what I'm talking about. So in Eastern mysticism, Buddhism, elements of Hinduism, it's like, you're awesome if you reach nirvana. That's an awesome bonus you figured out the ultimate way to play the video game. Like when you beat the video game, you beat the mega bosses, you got the secret armor, you beat all the side quests. You're a G. If you don't do that, you're just kind of a regular Joe. Now in Christianity, heaven and nirvana still kind of seem like they're up here. But instead of just being a regular Joe, you're like it's a world of difference. So it's either you're one of the ones on the narrow path who achieves heaven, or you're one of the many who go to hell. Now, hell is definitely real. Jesus talks about hell, the gnashing of teeth and weeping outside of the kingdom of heaven. But I feel like I've detected that eternal conscious torment doesn't necessarily have to be biblical. The people who believe in that, they do have arguments in the Bible, but I'm to a point where I'm still a Christian, but I think like ascending in the path of sainthood. I've talked about it in the past. It's like, not only do you avoid punishment by being good, but you start becoming a better person. And it's not new. This isn't new age, theosis. They talk about theosis and orthodoxy, like, or, becoming more like God. Like your mind becomes more like the mind of God. So I'm just saying it's just better to focus on that, If you're somebody who takes your faith very seriously to the point where you are militantly cutting out sin, it should get to a point where it's like, I'm not afraid of going to hell. I am feeling good about what I like to call ascending in sainthood, which, could maybe rub some people the wrong way, but I'm in a weird place, guys, where I'm pretty confident I'm not going to church anymore. Because I don't trust the Knights of Columbus. I just looked up the local Knights of Columbus, and it's the same every time, dude. It's the same. They look exactly like Freemasons. They own construction companies, or they're former military, former Marines. They work for contractors. They sell insurance. Freemasons sell insurance. Knights of Columbus sell insurance. So every degree of the Knights of Columbus is defined by a virtue. The fourth degree of the Knights of Columbus, it's kind of like everybody is basically guaranteed to reach the third degree of the Knights of Columbus if they stay in it. But only special people reach the fourth degree. And what virtue defines the fourth degree of the Knights of Columbus? Patriotism. Patriotism is the virtue of the fourth special elite degree of the Knights of Columbus. Patriotism. Now, I wonder what the fourth degree elite Knights of Columbus are doing, owning construction companies and contracting companies and being military, that makes them good patriots. Maybe it has something to do with the Patriot Act? I mean, nobody taught me this. Nobody taught me this shit, you guys. I learned this on my own through my own experience. If you want my opinion on it, guys, the Knights of Columbus are the eyes in the sky. If you're trying to keep a low profile, the last thing you want to do is walk through the freaking door of a Catholic church, bro. And I'm sorry, man. Like, I want people to watch the movie Leap of Faith if you haven't yet, because I feel like that movie illustrates it perfectly. The people in the pews, he runs this like traveling evangelical thing. The people in the pews are good people, and they're kind of getting scammed, and they're kind of giving their money to scam artists. But it doesn't mean that the people in the pews are good people. I just think that when you reach a certain level spiritually, it can honestly be dangerous for you to go to church. I honestly believe that walking through the doors of a Catholic church is dangerous for me at this point. I believe that I could give people the name that I'm giving people, And then they'll be like, oh, we looked up so-and-so who went to this church and we couldn't find you. Oh, yeah? That's crazy. Like, can we see some ID? Oh, I'd rather not. Well, what's going on? Like, why don't you want to show me your ID? I see that they want you to register. I'm looking at and I registered at a Baptist church in Kodiak. And when I wanted to leave the church, I got a message from a guy on Facebook who added me on Facebook right after I registered, and he's a fireman. He works for the fire department. So he's like, I know you're trying to leave the church and you said you're Catholic, but I'm hesitant to remove you from the registry. I'd like to just meet up with you for lunch. And this guy's like 6'4" and he's a fireman. So I have to get grilled by a 6'4" fireman because I want to leave the church. And he's hesitant to remove me from the registry. I said, you know what? Go ahead and remove me from the and you have these big fake smiles. Well, howdy, neighbor. I heard you're leaving the church. Yeah, I'm just kind of becoming Catholic. You can go ahead and remove me from the registry. Well, it's so good to hear from you. I don't really want to remove you from the registry, so I'm not going to. Oh, no, I insist. Go ahead and remove me. Oh, no, I insist. I'm not going to remove you from the registry. Let's go ahead and have lunch. So I got to go get grilled by a 6'4" member of the fire department to get removed from the registry of this Baptist church. And I'm wondering if other members of the fire department are going to be there. So you guys, that was at a Baptist church. And then me and my mother got followed to our car by a 6'8" guy in a military uniform. And I'm Googling on Reddit, is it okay to wear your military uniform at mass? And who do I see answers from? The military. The military's like, oh, you should never be ashamed of your military uniform. It's funny, people at the church were like, well, I don't wear, I'm a construction worker. I don't wear my construction hat to church. So you probably shouldn't wear your military uniform. That's your work uniform. But there's all kinds of military being really loud about it. Oh yeah, always wear your military uniform everywhere. If anybody has a problem with it, they're not a good American. So it's I get and then, they don't want to remove you from the registry because I think the registry is an excuse to spy on you. I think when you register at any church, they spy on you. And, they say that Freemasons can kind of be the priest class of Baptist churches. That's not necessarily true, but are you guys seeing the big picture I'm seeing, you guys? The church is the government. All of them. The Catholic Church. The Baptist Church. You show me a church, I'll show you an establishment institution that is dangerous for you to walk through if you're a certain kind of a person. Now, what is that certain kind of person? And who just said it in there? Somebody said, if you don't have anything to hide. Now, who else uses that rhetoric? The Scientologists, right? So there's that video of Tom Cruise is like, when's the last time I talked to a closed off person? He sounds like he's nuts. So the Church of Scientology has closed off people. But you guys, I feel like I've experienced personally, and no, I didn't go to every church. Mormons basically are Freemasons. There's the Elders and the Jehovah's Witnesses. There's the Knights of Columbus in the Catholic Church. I mean, what do I have to do? Do I have to keep going to all these different churches to be like, oh no, I'm sure one of them, it's either the deacons or the elders or just somebody who attends the church and they're an undercover. If you talk to an apologist of the Protestants, the Jesuits will graduate from Georgetown and then they'll go to a Presbyterian seminary and then they'll become a Presbyterian minister. Happens all the time. And then you talk to a Catholic, oh yeah, a lot of these Protestant ministers are undercover CIA and they use it as a front. And I'm just kind of like, yeah. Oh man, the Mormons are basically like Freemasons. Yeah. All across the board. The church is establishment, you guys. I think the church is establishment. And if you're just like an old lady who doesn't have any opinions about the government, oh, hey there. Oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, I was picking my tulips. Oh, there's a big arm. I remember your boy. Well, hey, why don't you sign up for the registry, old lady Susan? It doesn't matter if she signs up for the registry. It doesn't matter if they have her name and her number and her address. I feel like if I walk through into a Catholic parish, the Knights of Columbus are going to look at me, and I just have a certain kind of look. And it's not about me thinking I'm tough, but I look like a certain kind of a guy. I look like a guy. I have an aura. I believe that there's just an aura about real guys. And they're like, hey there, neighbor. That's a fresh, friendly face I haven't seen before. And what's your name? Hi, I'm fake name. And then the next time you see him, it's weird. I called the parish and they didn't say that there was a Joe Joerson. They didn't say there was a Joe Joerson from Kansas. So what's going on there, buddy? You're not giving me a fake name, are you? Well, I don't know. You're not Googling me, are you? Trying to figure out who I am, are you? So what's your name? But hey, you know what, guys? Remember, if you've ever done anything bad, make sure to confess it to your priest, who's former military. The priest in Kodiak was former military, and he used to be a Pentecostal. I think he was a Pentecostal priest. Former military, Pentecostal priest. And I'm just trying to be honest with you guys, man. And I still have respect for the church. I still have respect. Basically, it's good news. If you're not a Catholic, it's like, hey, I don't think you're going to hell, but I don't want to go to your church either. So I'm sorry, guys. Like, I know the chosen ones are like a bunch of random cheesy people on YouTube. But if you have discernment and you can see like the best of the chosen ones or the best arguments of the chosen ones and you can weed out the bullshit, I basically think that's the truth, guys. Like, if you have been located by the eye in the sky, if you're somebody trying to flee from the all-seeing eye, church just isn't really where you want to be, man. I just feel like church isn't really where you want to be, bro. Kingdom of heaven, the people in the pews are what matter, not the church. Kingdom of heaven. I'll have to watch that movie, but I'm not trying to say bad things about the church. And here's the thing, guys. Let me tell you what I think about this. There's all kinds of like hippy dippy new agers who say this kind of stuff. It's like, it's not about the church, man. The church is the man. It's just the establishment, bro. God's inside of all of us. Well, basically, guys, I studied theology. And I spent the time, bro. I spent the time, and I'm coming to similar conclusions on my own. You gotta give it a shot. You gotta figure it out for yourself. But I'm starting a new life, and I think it's a bad idea to go to church. And it's a little bit hard on me. But yeah. I'm not quite there yet. I'm doing more research. I'm figuring more things out. My actual knowledge needs to catch up, but my gut feeling says, bro, you can't like win a debate on it right now, but your gut is saying like, don't go to a church. That's what my gut is telling me. It's not out of thinking I'm better or thinking I'm this or that. I'm going with my gut, man. I'm keeping a low profile. My experience tells me that part of keeping a low profile is not going to church. And when I meet people, I'll just say I'm a Christian. And it's like, oh, well, which Christians do you think are fucking idiots who are going to hell? None of them. Well, that's a big, huge deal, dude. So, I know it comes off as opinionated, guys. This is my perspective. And it's dangerous, you know, because I was really serious about being a Protestant for a while, and Protestants hate Catholics. And then it's like, oh, actually, I'm a Catholic. And then there's all these Protestants who are like, well, dude, F you. And then I'm really serious about being a Catholic. And then I'm surrounded by these Catholics who like don't like Protestants or anybody else. And then I'm like, oh, well, actually, I'm some weird New Ager. And they're like, well, fuck you. So I keep like bringing all these people really close to me. It's like, yeah, buddy, we're going to be Catholic buddies for a really long time. And it's like, oh, well, actually, I think that like your institution is the devil. And basically, everything Southern Israelite says about the Jesuits, I was watching Jeem's video last night. I didn't finish it yet. Society fell in 2016. Bro, it's like, man. It's like the Matrix, dude. Think about the Smiths in the Matrix. They were everybody. They're everywhere. It's just Smiths, bro. There's particular kind of authority positions. Jesuits, Freemasons. Sometimes it could be priests. But military, if you're looking for the thing that connects everything, it's like the military, bro. But, you know, FBI, CIA, CIA basically is military. FBI basically is law enforcement. People will be like, it's gang stalking's law enforcement. It's military. CIA, high-level military. FBI, high-level law enforcement. Now, am I saying that all cops are bad and everybody's bad? That's not what I'm saying, bro. But put it this way. Jesus was murdered by the church. I think maybe the people that killed Christ used his story to create an establishment control mechanism, guys. And it's like, how do you get people to go to your establishment control mechanism? Oh, that's easy. You're going to burn in hell forever if you don't go there. So what basically makes me think that Protestants were right. I don't know. This is huge, guys. This is all like, whoa! I basically think Protestants were right. And reading Nietzsche kind of helps me realize that. Now, the Protestant church today is different. Because the powers that be dug their claws back into it. Because the powers that be dig their claws into everything. It's like the Matrix, dude. It's like the Matrix, guys. So what's the real religion? It's Jesus. It's just Jesus, bro. And follow the eightfold path. Matthew 7, like do what Jesus said. And then they're like, well, the Catholic Church knows what Jesus said. And, you know, I mean, I like the rosary. I still like these traditions. But now I've had personal experience at the Catholic Church. I was harassed at the Baptist Church. I'm a cowboy, bro. And then that's that whole mentality like, well, if you don't feel safe in an institution like that, that says something about you. What do you have to hide? You got something to hide? And this goes all the way back to 9/11, bro. And Department of Homeland Security. If you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to worry about. What are you saying? I mean, I don't know about that, Meow. I'm not really going to get into that. For me, I think it's obvious that the churches are involved. To me, I think it's obvious from my personal experience, like, I feel bad, bro. I think I have attained some sort of a high level. I have to speak in general terms. I haven't nailed everything down yet. I am reaching some sort of a high level. Weird flex, I'm sorry. And when you reach that, some sort of a high level, establishment places are not where you want to be. You want to keep a low profile. Church is not low profile. It's like, Hey there, buddy. I haven't seen you in a little bit. What have you been doing for the last 25 hours? What have you been doing? Where were you for the last 48 hours? Your tracking device, like, disappeared. You weren't at the luncheon. Like, dude, it's like an old mechanism of keeping tabs on everybody, bro. You know, we need people to put their social security numbers on the registry now. We're submitting to the authorities. Like, dude, I just read another article about the Knights of Columbus. I mean, if they're not Freemasons, they're Knights of Columbus, and they're the judges, the police, sheriffs. Where have you been this last half a decade, chud? Here's what the chosen ones say that I think is spot on, dude. If you're a real one, this is where you want to be. In an undisclosed location by yourself. Personal experience, baby. I didn't read it in a book. I didn't read it. It's like the man that needed to be by himself because he's a real one. There's the man that needed to be by himself. He's at the super center. He's getting followed by clearance control or whatever it's called. He's getting followed by asset protection. It's like a kid's book with pictures. Oh, dude. I'm not a danger to anybody. I think I'm on the brink of like some sort of spiritual enlightenment, you guys. And I'm sorry. I say that just because, you know, take it or leave it, bro. And the church gets mad merely for my perspective being out there. I didn't go undercover. I didn't try to play a trick on everybody. It's like, oh, he pretended to be a Protestant, and then he pretended to be a Catholic, and now he's unleashing the ultimate plot. It's like, no, you guys, I've been trying to figure it out, man. And it's weird. It's like something just clicked, dude. I saw that 6'8" gargantuan Leviathan guy in a military uniform at the Catholic Church, and I'm like, I don't think this is God's house. I think that the people in that church, a lot of them are God's real followers. I think a lot of the people at the Baptist church are God's real followers. But I think there's nothing stopping the man from weaponizing your faith against you, bro. And a really spiritually strong person can wrestle with some of these ideas. Do I have to bend the knee to the establishment to evade eternal torment? No. It takes a certain kind of person to understand that, bro. And people are going to be like, well, you're starting to say a lot of stuff that atheists say. Yes, I am. Atheists have thrown out the baby with the bathwater. Atheists have kind of understood some of the corruption in the church. But then they've made that there's no God, that there's no truth, that there's no objective truth. And then they got sucked into a different kind of a religion. It's like, hey, welcome to the atheist convention. Sign up for the registry. Hey there, fellow atheist, where you been? Hey there, fellow Mormon, where you been? Hey there, fellow Protestant, where you been? Hey there, fellow Catholic, where you been? Everywhere. They take advantage of your faith to keep tabs on you, bro. And if you're a regular person, it doesn't matter. What does that say about you? It said, I don't know, dude. I don't know. The system wants to fucking destroy me for some reason. I would say if you have nothing to hide, guys, and I don't have anything to hide, but if the man isn't after you, just go to any church. I think the Catholic Church is still my favorite. I still pray the rosary. I still do things in a very much Catholic way. I do really follow the cloud of unknowing. And I think that like a Christian mystic type of a person has a better understanding of the truth than a Buddhist. But I basically think that we live in some sort of an emerging authoritarian regime. Way back in 2014, I was reading about people talking about Jade Helm Alex Jones has always been like, oh, there's going to be a police state, militarized police, martial law. It's already here, bro. And it's, if you're the kind of person who needs to get policed by it, you're the only people who know that it's here. Well, everybody else is just believing whatever they're told. Basically, it's like, if you're not somebody who needs to be policed, according to, the principalities in high places who worship Satan, then you don't realize that you live in a militarized police state. But when you're the kind of person who spiritually levels up, the Smiths appear, and you start to realize that you live in some sort of an authoritarian regime. So that's my worldview, guys. And I didn't read it out of a book. You could read that out of a book, but I've read a lot of different books with a lot of competing worldviews. I've experienced things on my own, and it is kind of a sad reality. It's kind of a sad, bleak reality. God has allowed people to be manipulated by liars, bro. There's just people who will sell you lies to dig deep, intimately in your life. I'm the one who frees you of your sin. I'm the one who shows you how to get saved. Like, basically, guys, there's a track record of spiritual gurus being the biggest pieces of fucking trash ever. Jim Jones, like, child molesters, rapists, human traffickers. You need me to get saved. And then they take advantage of you and they sleep with your wife. And dude, they're scumbags, bro. I'm not telling you to sign up for a Discord. I'm not anything from you. You guys can all see that there's people fucking obsessed with me. There's somebody on IP2 who, they're like the Wraith, bro. They're like the ring wraiths from The Lord of the Rings. I'm all they think about. I'm all they talk about. They'll never stop hunting. They'll never stop looking. I have reached where this kind of weird demonic spiritual warfare has been triggered, and the establishment wants to fucking destroy me. So you can see that. I don't want your money. I don't want you to sign up for my Discord. I'm giving it to you for free, guys. I respect that you don't believe it. I respect that you're questionable of it. Chances are you'll be fine in a church. But it's weird how it works, man. Somebody in a church will be like, man, what's up with these fucking Democrats, bro? Like, they're fucking nutty. It's like, well, I kind of feel like there's people on both sides controlling the Democrats and controlling the Republicans, and what they want is for the middle-class Democrats and for the middle-class Republicans. And then they'll make that fucking, like, all I listen to is worship radio face. They'll make that, like, I got saved at a Walmart face, like, and then you get gang stalked. And then you get gang stalked, dude, basically for, like, knowing the truth. And if you let the wrong people know that you know the truth, if you're a real one, dude, you're in danger. If you're a real one, you're in danger. And I do think that it's spiritual. But there's not really a reason to say that it's spiritual, because you can explain all of it in material ways. Reality could be nicer. We need people to start shaming satanic stuff. See, check this out. When I got baptized again at the Baptist church, they wanted me to give my story. What's it called? Your testimony. They wanted me to give my testimony, and part of my testimony was that I was a musician and I was into metal, and I started to realize that a lot of music and television was spiritual poison. And this fucking missionary who was visiting comes up on stage right after I gave my testimony. He was like, ha ha ha, what a great testimony, but there's nothing wrong with music and TV. He felt the need to say that after I gave my testimony. And there was a guy standing behind me that day who had a loud conversation about how he worked at the rocket launch. And when the missionary guy walked by, he gave him a high five. He gave the aerospace guy a high five. It's fucking everywhere, dude. It's everywhere. And the church is their fucking home base, dude, where they spiritually manipulate people. I'd say that God doesn't love you, or sorry, that's what they say. I would say that God loves you, and if you're a good person, you're probably not going to burn in hell for all eternity. Don't listen to that guy. Sign up for my fucking Discord, bro. Give the church a 30% stipend. Like, what is it, tithing? Do not listen to that demon. Give the church 30% of your earnings, and everybody who isn't here is fucking burning in hell for all eternity. I think it's nuts, bro. I'm sorry. I dive through the window. Get on the ground. And it's this weird thing. So, like, what are you saying? Are you saying that, like, the church is the enemy? But you're how? I don't get it. It's like, dude, it's just in you, man. If you believe in God and if you're a Christian, and a church is a great place to be for Christians, but the enemy is there, bro. Where is the enemy? I don't know why, but they're on the freaking stand. They're the one preaching to you, bro. The pastor at the Baptist church I went to in Kodiak, he was former military, and he was talking about how he always goes to Israel, and he lived in Israel. And he was talking about Ukraine. He was military, telling us how important it was to support Ukraine and how important it was to support Israel, dude. They're always, the good people are in the pews. The enemy is on the freaking stand, dude. Not all the time. Some priests are great. So I don't know, man. I'm still new to hashing these things out. This is still new to me. I haven't developed it, but I'm just speaking from the heart. And it's like, dude, I'm just giving you a warning. I'm just giving you a warning, dude. Like, if you get gang stalked and you deal with narcissists and you've dealt to the smear campaign, oh, well, I better go to a church and confess because that's where all my people are. They're the people running the harassment campaign, dude. I immediately knew that the Knights of Columbus were sketchy. Because I can just see it in people, bro. I can just, like, see it, man. I was looking at the guy, I'm not going to say his name again, but he's a Latino guy. He had a Catholic altar on his Facebook. It had little skulls on it, bro. It had these weird little skulls. And it's like, I think he was into, like, Santeria black magic. They can hide it inside of Catholicism, bro. It's very popular in Mexico and South America to, like, hide Santerian black magic witchcraft inside of Catholicism. And he was a Knight of Columbus. He was the leader of the Knights of Columbus. I think maybe his family was Cartel or MS-13 or some shit, dude. So I'm in this weird place where it's like, I recently said I don't think the world is ending, but it could be. And there's spiritual warfare everywhere. Our country is becoming some sort of a weird police state. Technology is absolutely terrifying. And there's so many people, it's like, dude, I just or like they're on their Facebook, check out this thing I bought at Walmart. Oh, I just had to give him my social security number. There's all these, like, unenlightened people all over Facebook, all over Instagram, all over dating apps. Like, if this person ever stepped out of line, like, all right, Joe Joerson just had, like, a weird anti-establishment opinion. Joe Joerson, Tinder, Facebook, Instagram, emails, and, like, it's like, oh, look at this. He leaked his social security number on a status on Facebook. It's like, oh, I named my dog after my social security number. Like, there's so many people who have handed all of their fucking life over to the establishment from this tech shit, and they have no idea. And it's like, I love everybody. I wish everybody the best, dude, but I'm under attack and I got to do what's best for me. I got to start looking out for me. And part of that, I'm not going to a church. I'm not signing up for the registry. I'm not doing it. So, sorry, guys. I've been kind of saying lately that I'm a philosopher first. I'm a Christian first. I'm a believer first. I'm a man of God first. But I can't pretend I don't see these things, bro. I can't pretend I don't see these things, man. There's people in that church who want me dead. There's people in that church who want horrible things to happen to me. I've seen how so many people don't believe in forgiveness. So many people don't believe in redemption. And it's right there in the Gospels. You can't tell me that there's no redemption in the Gospels. There is redemption through Christ. There is forgiveness through Christ. Salvation is by faith alone, but faith without works is dead faith. But what is works? Works is cutting sin from your life. So believe in Jesus and remove the sin from your life, bro, because that's how you'll know you've had the transformation through Christ. I don't think you got to go to church, man. It's one man's opinion. Take it or leave it. So how are we doing, guys? That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I'm probably about ready to do whatever it is I'm going to do next. Big day today for me. Life is feeling new. Life is feeling fresh. Been doing a lot of stuff lately. Church equal Circe turning men to pigs. Bruh. But yeah, man, when it comes to fornication, masturbation, pornography, you will become better if you cut it out. You'll become better if you remove sin from your life. I like the breathing exercises. I like the contemplation type of stuff. That video that I made, Catholic mysticism or whatever, that's still what I'm following, man. And you will find people that, you know, they believe in the third secret of Fatima. Which, by the way, there's other Marian apparitions that said there would be an apostasy in church. You know, there's people that think, like, it's just me and my rosary in the Bible. That's out there. There's people who think, you know, the church is corrupt, Vatican II is corrupt. I have a feeling that the traditional Latin Mass is probably just feds all over the place. Just me and my Bible and my rosary, baby. I got my Catholic altar. I don't want to dissuade people, but I feel like there's levels, man. And I feel like life does start to look like the Matrix when you've reached a certain level. And the point of the entire video is I wish that people could know their worth when they're young. I don't know if it's possible, guys. I don't know if it's possible to be young and have the light and know you have the light and navigate narcissists and conceal your power level and avoid all these pitfalls, bro. I think what it is your family. Like, if your family raises you in a way where you're protected from it and you have the right people around you. But then I also think that the people who make it the highest are people who aren't protected from it. When the demons come for you, when you go to spiritual warfare, you level up. You level up, man. But I just think it's like, wow, if I had these insights and I wasn't on the radar of the eye in the sky, it would be so nice. So if you're watching my content, like figuring it all out, and you're not on any radar, stay off the radar, bro. That's right, meow. That's right. So anybody out there who's figuring it out and you're not on the radar, stay off the radar, man. I have my suspicions about what kind of powers I was bashing up against. I do think that I'm pro-America. I keep saying I want the supply chain to keep going. I want the lights to stay on. I want peace. I want shelves to stay stocked. I live in America. I support America. I support our interests overseas. So I'm not some like anti-American guy, bro. I think that whatever these things are, they're everywhere. I don't know if it really, like, if a country represents it. I don't think it's something like, oh, you know, this country is with Christ and this country's not. I don't think it's works like that. And it's all over the Bible, man. The idea is that the devil's powers and the evil is just everywhere. And when you start seeing through the illusion of television and music and media, because as a drummer, as an aspiring musician, as somebody who thought he was getting signed to Warner Brothers, it was probably a sham, but you know, this guy worked. I did a little research on this guy, and he has wheeled and dealed some multi-million-dollar deals, dude. I was in line to be an architect of spiritual poison, a peddler, a creator, a merchant of spiritual poison. I've seen that music can be spiritual poison. Television can be spiritual poison. Misdirection. Eugenics. Like, all this stuff is just there. It's like, oh, you want to eat McDonald's every day? Nobody's stopping you. You can listen to this music and eat McDonald's every day. And it seems like it's a system of eugenics where there's an entire sector of people who eat like garbage, live like garbage, listen to garbage, eat a big bite of a fart burger, waste their money on stupid stuff, and they're basically killing themselves. And they're basically like weeding themselves out of existence. And then the people in charge are like, well, I didn't do it. I didn't kill anybody. So what's the problem? They've created a system for people to weed themselves out of existence. And interestingly, Christianity saves you from that. If you follow Christianity at a high level, it will keep you away from this stuff. Because I know people who are atheists. Here's how Christians get the last laugh, dude. Atheists, like, worship everything that psychiatrists and psychologists say. They're usually some sort of a psychiatrist experiment. Like, whenever I hear some lefty who's like super preachy about atheism, they usually have their psychiatrist on speed dial, and they're always like going through this merry-go-round circus of medications, and they're pretty much nuts. Christianity should protect you from that. Christianity protects you from these things. But I'm starting to feel like, you know, atheists don't follow our ancient system of control. So, you know, they get fed to McDonald's and psychology. And then people who have spiritual faith, we keep tabs on them through the church. But if you have the spiritual faith and you don't let the church keep tabs on you, and you eat healthy and you take good care of yourself, and you don't listen to the spiritual poison or watch the spiritual poison, and you realize that there's pretty much demonic bullshit everywhere, you know too much, buddy. You see too much. You're becoming a problem. You're becoming a problem. You're not eating the food that kills you. You're not registering at the church that monitors you, you are becoming a problem. And who knows what's going to happen from here, buddy boyos. I think the question that on people's minds, like, is this just some little vendetta that I was dealing with, or is this the freaking eye in the sky? And if it is the eye in the sky, well, they'll probably figure out where I am eventually. I don't know if the real ones have the privilege of just living life on easy mode, boys. But I have an idea of where I'm going to go from here, how I'm going to do things. And some battle, it's a question of my character. Because they want to go on tour and convince everybody I'm a horrible person. Well, I'm pretty confident that I can undo that. I'm pretty confident that I can beat that. Because I've been putting out positive stuff for a long time. I really don't think my worst moments were like that bad, but I can explain those moments. And I want peace, baby. I want love. I'm kind of just staying in my own little corner. I'm kind of just staying in my own space. They probably don't want me going to the church either, so I'm not going to go to the church. They don't want my influence there. They don't want my influence in all kinds of places. Yeah, be careful of the poetry. Yeah. Music can be a spiritually uplifting thing. Oh, by the way, thank you, Night Shift. I saw that.
Good stream. Keep the good flow going.
Appreciate that, bro. Brain farted on that. Yeah, I was up to $98, so that's going to put me over the edge. Now I'll get my next $100 check from YouTube. Woo! But, just be a good person, guys. Something about being a good person will elevate you. You'll start to change. You'll start to, like, spiritually evolve. And that's one of the things where I think Christians in general, they get uncomfortable with that. It's like, no, there's no spiritual evolution. You just avoid hell. Like, all you do is avoid hell, and that's it. But that's not even true, because there's theosis and, you know, sanctification, becoming more like the mind of God. You'll get closer to God. You'll become more like God. You'll become holier. You'll become more pure. You'll become more wise. You ascend up a chain of benefits. It's not just avoiding hell. It's like becoming a better person and spiritually evolving. I have no issue with saying it that way. So that's it, gang. I'm leaving this live stream up. And I think this was a good way to do it. God bless you, my friends. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do today, but I'm going to figure it out. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out. God bless.